Have you ever cringed at the theater kids at school? Well, unfortunately, I'm part of them. And theater has actually taught me a lot of stuff that helped me become a better person in life. So, if you want to be a better person, this podcast is for you, me, and everyone else who doesn't have a clue on how to live this human life on this confusing planet. I'm Ches, your host for the How Do You Even Human podcast, available now on YouTube and on Spotify. And today, we're gonna have another guest who will be talking about theater. Let us all welcome Rafa Jimenez.
Hello! What an intro you have, Ches. What an intro. What a terrific intro you have.
Thank you so much. So how are you? Oh my gosh.
I'm good. Online class. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you're still studying theater, right?
Yeah,
Jimin?
I am a theater student. I'm
Yes.
first year, but technically it's my third year because I took theater in senior high.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it's really hard, right? As a theater student,
As a theater
doing it online,
Dude, you have no idea. I'm not the biggest fan of acting online in front of a laptop. Like, I'm so sick of Zoom. I'm so sick of Google Meets.
Yes.
I'm so sick of it.
It's so different when you have a live audience.
Yeah. Actually,
gosh.
recently I did Tango. It's a Polish play, and we did a full on production of it, like the whole 2 hours of it, and we were filming from like 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. Like sometimes it was that crazy. Because I mean that's what it's like on a film set. It was more of like a film than it was a play. Yeah, that's more what it's like today.
Yeah, that's why it's really not the essence of theater isn't there anymore.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
liveness. It's more of film, and that's not really what we're talking about today. And we're
Yeah.
talking about theater today. So just to start off everything, how did you get into theater?
Well, so I was grade 8, and this was I mean I had seen Les Miserables before, like the movie version. Everyone's seen the movie version,
Of course.
and there's also this video of Daniel Radcliffe in the musical How to Succeed in Business, and you should watch it because he's a terrific dancer. Have you seen that video?
Yes.
He's
Yes,
so good.
I was like,
He's so good.
Harry Potter is dancing.
He is so good, dude. Like I swear, when I was 5, I was like, "That's cool. I kind of wanna do that." I wasn't 5, but like I was grade 5.
Okay,
I kind of want to do that, but I never really gave it thought. But I really decided to do theater when I watched the touring production of Les Miserables.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like the one here in the Philippines?
Yeah, the one with the
Yeah.
Australian cast, I think. Australian
Oh,
and
yeah,
London
yeah, yeah.
cast. Yeah. I watched that. That I always tell people whenever people ask me how I started, I always tell people that show changed my life.
Yes.
that changed
oh
my
my
life.
gosh. Les Mis is just a powerful show,
It is.
honestly.
But it kind of gets. I mean, it's super gus for me now.
Yeah, like Les Mis is like one of those popular musicals, and if someone says that's their favorite musical, like, okay, normie.
It used to be my favorite musical.
Yeah,
That has changed.
Mine also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has changed
Yeah.
too. And now, how's your theater life now?
Now in the pandemic, it's great because I'm working on things. I started writing for the first time. Like I started writing, and I've directed already like a
Oh,
podcast,
wow.
radio play, and which I co-wrote with my brother, and
Wow.
yeah, it's fun, but it's really not the same. Like every day you wake up and you're like, I want to go back to the theater already. Like I want to
Yeah,
perform something already.
There's no like the theater high,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
theater
yeah,
high
yeah.
of like being in the wings and you're just like, okay, let's do this or something. It's so different right
It
now.
is.
And like why are you still doing theater until now despite a pandemic, despite everything that's happening right now?
Because I'm dumb. No, I'm just no. Because I love theater and I know there's a lot to say about the pandemic. There's a lot of things that went wrong. So many bad stuff has happened, and it's really frustrating. But, you know, what Les Mis taught me is that, you know, you always have to have hope. Like, I'm just hoping and praying, even though it kind of sounds like repetitive and redundant. And, you know, I'm just still hoping that it'll come back. It's only been like, what, 7 months?
Yes, 7 months.
7 months. It's just 7 months, guys. But I don't mean to like undermine the pandemic or anything. I'm just hoping for the best, because honestly, what else can we do?
Yeah, and like, what's been like getting us through this pandemic, like us theater people, or like the theater shows and being with the theater community.
Yeah.
Like, it's so inspiring. Like, what's so inspiring about theater compared to film? Because like, it's kind of like the same. Like, it has a story, it has
Yeah.
it has a plot, it has characters, it has the directors and actors, but it's different. It's different, right? Like, what's so inspiring about it?
What's different is that in film, I mean, film is terrific. I love film. But watching it, it's a different medium. It still has that form of mimesis, but
Yes.
but the thing with theater is that you're watching these people go through it in front of your face.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
It's
how
just-
I can describe it.
Yeah,
That's
it's just
the
so
simplest
much
way.
deeper, because like you can actually see a human, a live human doing it, pouring out their emotions, and
Yeah.
it's just so you realize a lot of stuff about humanity when you watch theater, right?
Yeah, it's very, I think Pat Valera said this. It's like this communal thing where you're sharing it with people. You're sharing theater with the actors. You're sharing it with the audience. You're sharing it with everyone, and that's why, you know, it's so good, and it's also bad because that greatly affected our industry, because our industry needs to have people together, you know, in
I
order
know.
to work.
It's just so sad that the theater industry, especially in the Philippines, just it didn't die, but like it's hidden now, or
It's
gone.
put on hold. It's put
Put
on
on
hold. I'd like
yeah,
to say
that's
that.
the word.
It's put on
That's the
hold.
word. Yes, because theater will never die
No.
unless there's people who's keeping it alive.
Yeah, who said
Yes.
that? Well, we'll figure that out sometime.
Yeah, we'll figure
I don't know who
it
the.
I don't know. So, now that you've been doing theater even in the pandemic, you've still been doing theater since before that. And theater teaches you a lot of skills in life that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, before theater, I was such a boring person, honestly. Yeah, so what skills did it teach you? What did you realize doing theater?
What did I realize? There's so many things. Like, right after I decided to be a theater practitioner, I basically dedicated my life to it obsessively,
Yes.
which is not very good. Children, don't I mean, grind, but don't like overdo it. Don't overwork yourself.
Take breaks.
Yeah.
Rest.
Sometimes you need a
rejuvenate.
hiatus. Sometimes, like a short hiatus, like take your Christmas off, like not doing anything. That's
Yes.
very therapeutic.
Yeah. Cause like the problem is with theater also, it's like theater is also therapeutic. So where do you find that balance of, theater life and actual life,
Actual life.
if there is?
If there is, because honestly, I don't know, if there is a balance, but I'm pretty sure there is. I just don't think about it as much. But because here, we experience a lot of problems in our, especially as teenagers. We're also like emotional and and we always feel like older people are breathing down our necks, and then we just imagine one day that we're gonna be better than them, and we're not gonna have
Yeah.
to handle them anymore. But
True.
and that builds a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and I don't suggest this to theater people or theater actors, but there are just some days where like I go to rehearsal and I'm really mad, and I have a scene where I have to be mad, and I really just take it out there.
Yeah.
It helps. It
It's-
helps. Kind of. It doesn't
theater-
help your performance, but it helps you. kind of
Yeah, it
just let it
helps
out.
you. It's like a catharsis. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
release. Theater is really a release. And it's also a form of expression. I think theater teaches you a lot about like different ways and how you can express yourself. I think that helped me. Did that help you?
Yeah, I think so. Like being like you my intel because I wasn't a smart kid in high school. I
Ah,
wasn't I had average grades. I had very average grades. I was an average student, I barely passed my homework anyway, but I passed high school for some reason.
that's
But
good.
with theater, like that's where my like I didn't know that I could be somehow intelligent. And then I was
Yes.
like, okay, this is where like my skills come out, where I can really
Mm-hmm.
communicate with people and tell my
Mm-hmm.
ideas, and it always seems to work in theater for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it really teaches you to be a critical thinker because
Right.
like if you're an actor or a director or anyone else in the
Yeah.
theater production cast or crew, you have to like look at the script and you have to analyze it, like the subtext,
Dude.
everything, and you have to execute it on stage with all these like visuals and all of that stuff. And it teaches you to be really like a critical thinker and to be
Yeah.
super creative.
Definitely, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I agree because especially when you're a theater student, they make you do a lot of reading. You read a
Mm-hmm.
lot of plays, a lot of analysis, and at
Yeah.
some point it becomes muscle memory, and it's like it's kind of like reading music notes, like sight
Mm-hmm.
reading. You start read at first you don't know how, but when you keep doing it and doing it, it's like you're just reading.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing for text analysis for like a lot of actors who've been doing it for a while. And I guess for me to an extent, but it depends on the play. If it's an easy kind of play, no play's easy, but there, of
Yes.
course, there's an easy play. That I just say that because formality.
Yeah. And it also teaches you a lot about confidence, you know.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Are you an introvert or are
yeah.
you an extrovert?
I'm an ambivert leaning toward more to introvertism.
Ah. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like, cause like you have to be in front of people. You have to pour
yeah,
out everything. You have to be really vulnerable. It
which
teaches
is
you a lot of
scary
it.
for a lot
Yes,
of people.
yes, it is. Yeah, cause like, especially if like the story really relates to you,
Oh God,
and you have
that's the
to
worst.
get get it from what do you call this, an organic
Yeah,
experience, and you have to pour it out. It's just it's both good and bad.
yeah.
Like, have you ever had that experience?
Theater is really confusing
Uh-huh.
because
Uh-huh.
it's people. A lot of the time, people contradict themselves, especially with what you just mentioned. If you really relate to the play, some people will say, "Okay, don't use your relation because you have to let the character feel it, not you." But some
Mm-hmm.
people will also say, "No, use it, use it." So it really depends on you. Like
It really
it really
depends.
depends on you and how it works for you. Because I think for me, I don't think I've had a very like effective performance if I use my feelings. But then again, there are times,
Ah.
that's why theater's so confusing because it
Yeah.
contradicts itself always. Not always,
Yes.
but it contradicts itself.
Yeah, like do I pick it from a character standpoint or do I get it from my own experience?
Yeah.
What makes it more impactful? Like we always think of the audience, right? We
Yeah,
always think of them
always.
naman, like always like what do we communicate to them. And yeah, another thing about theater, it teaches you a lot about communication skills, whether
Yeah.
it's oral or whether it's body language,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. Yeah, as a speech communication major, wow. Yeah, it taught me a lot about communication and it taught me a lot about work ethic. Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
that you kind of learn that weird like grind because your directors are also working hard, especially when you come in for the first time. You're like, everyone's working so hard, so I have to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt going in. What about you? How did you
Yeah.
feel with it, like going into theater?
Going into theater, like, I just wanted to perform. Like, I just wanted to sing, act, dance, but all that stuff about punctuality and being like really memorizing your
Yeah.
lines on time and being alert always, like it helped me a lot to be a better worker. Whether
Mm.
it's you like it affected my work ethic even outside theater.
Yeah.
Like it's really it really teaches you a lot.
Yeah.
Theater teaches you a lot. Yeah. Talent versus attitude. Attitude will always
That
win.
that oh my, people I've met who've had like who aren't really talented, but they don't have a good attitude either. I've met people like that, and it's crazy because you wish them the best, but at the moment you're like, dude, why are you doing this? Like,
Yeah,
you
and
meet a
like
lot of people in theater, a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah. And
different
like
kinds of
those
people.
those people who are like not talented, but and at the same time they're not really like nice. Like they're
Yeah,
the ones who's like really passionate about it and like
yeah,
they want to be big in the industry. So,
yeah.
but I'm just like, how will you make it big if you're a bad person at the same
Right.
time you don't have talent? Right.
But like here's what I thought. Like I always thought, yeah, I should make it big. I should
Mm-hmm.
make it big. But like, what does making it big really mean? Like, what
True.
in theater? Like, so because you're big, what does that make the rest of other people? Because I don't. It's weird. I don't. That feeling of being on the top with no one else with you. It's kind of
Oh
scary.
yeah.
But I don't really know
Yeah.
because I've never been.
True.
I've never been there, so I don't
Yeah,
really
we're
know.
still kids or whatever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You always have to assume that you're not good. Not, I mean,
Yeah.
because if you really start thinking you're good, you're gonna get complacent. That's how I think.
Yeah. You have to imagine yourself like you still have a big room for improvement because
Yeah,
there will always be room
yeah,
for improvement for you in theater,
mm.
right? And theater also teaches you a lot about being humble.
Mm.
Cause like I don't know with you, but like going into theater, I thought people will just be like, I don't know, people who can sing, who can dance,
Like sharp. Everyone
uh,
will be Sharpay Evans. Do you
yes,
think that?
but then just going into the community, everyone is so talented and it really humbles you down.
It does. It does. Like there are a lot of times where I think, hey, I'm pretty good, and then I see another actor, and they're like, shoot, I want to do that. I want to, like, and you kind of just look up to them and you're just humbled. And there's nothing wrong with being humbled. It's great to
Mm-hmm.
be humbled because if you're on the other side of the spectrum of not being humble, like, it's not so good up
Yeah,
there.
and you're not gonna get far.
Yeah,
You're
you're
really
not.
not. Oh yeah, and speaking about, being humble, let's talk about the theater community.
Mm.
Who do you look up to in
Oh
terms
my
of
God.
talent, work ethic, attitude, all that stuff?
If my profs watch this, I feel like they're gonna be so flattered because I look up to a lot of my profs at school.
Yeah.
Um, Sir Dennis Marasigan, Sir Paulo
Ooh.
O'Hara, Jeremy Domingo. Well, he doesn't teach in Mint
Mm-mm.
right now, but he was my prof in Mint.
Mm.
Who else? Mara Marasigan. So many of my profs. If I didn't mention I'm
Wow.
sorry, guys. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, miss.
Oh my gosh, I would only dream to work with them, honestly. Like those are just such big names in theater.
Those are
In
names.
Yes, Philippine theater community. Like I don't want to call it. I don't know. I saw this tweet
The
wherein
industry. Yeah.
I'd rather call it a community rather than an
Mm.
industry, because like it's really gathering people together in
Yeah.
this such transcendent experience, whether you're an actor or an audience. It's
Mm.
just really like the theater community in the Philippines is good. I must say. I
It
must
is.
say.
It
Yeah.
is. I mean, we honestly stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before us. The
Mhm.
national
True.
artists like Rolando Tino, Severino
Uh-huh.
Montano, Daisy Avellana, all those people. Like
Yes.
we wouldn't be here today without them. And I love
True.
Rolando Tino's work, like his
Yes.
Shakespeare translations. Like for some reason, I
Oh.
understand his Shakespeare translations in Tagalog more than I understand the English ones, which is weird.
Yeah, maybe it's also because we relate to it. It's our
Yeah.
identity as
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Filipinos. Yeah. It's
Sh-
more natural to us to hear
mm,
it with our language because like that's what we
yeah.
experience. Yeah.
And it
And
works
like
really well. in Tagalog. That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of Tagalog, what's the difference? What do you think is the difference between Western and
Western.
Filipino theater? Like in terms of the shows, in terms of the people, because it's really different if you really go into like community theater and all of that stuff
Yeah.
here in the Philippines. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Well, I feel like since a lot of in professional theater, a lot of the actors cross over from English to Tagalog theater. But in terms of the work, it's a lot more personal. Like
Oh yeah.
The Filipino works is a lot more personal. And my favorite musical isn't even a Broadway musical. It's a Filipino musical. It's Dekada 70, that
Yes.
musical's have you seen it?
I am so frustrated because I haven't seen it and
Three
it's
runs,
literally
Ches. Three
Yes.
runs. They did 3 runs. You didn't catch it in any of those times.
my dorm in university is literally across where it shows. Like where did it show again? In
Arete?
Ateneo? Yeah,
Arete?
Arete. Yeah, it's literally across my dorm, and I'm just like, why didn't I watch it? And like, I waited, after the pandemic.
Right.
You don't even watch it. Now it's never gonna happen.
I've seen
May-
it 3 times. I wish I could
Wow.
give one to you. I don't know how does that work. No, but I
How does that
watched it
work?
before the pandemic ended, and I think I've been watching a lot of more Filipino plays than like Western plays. Like the last 2 plays I watched before the pandemic started was Dekada and Batang Mujahideen with Tanghalang Pilipino.
Oh. And like the Filipino theater plays or musicals, they're deeply rooted in
Yeah.
the Filipino experience and social issues.
Yeah.
I think that's what's so impactful about Filipino shows.
Definitely.
It it has a lot of social commentary. Yeah. What's your favorite? Your favorite is Decada 60, and it talks about martial law
Yeah.
and all of those stuff that happened in the 70s, and it's just so it's beautiful.
It's beautiful and it's very
Yeah.
painful to watch.
Yes.
I've never been scared in a theater. I've never watched a show and I was like scared of what was happening on stage. But Dekada is what it made me scared. Because I remember I was talking to Joel Trinidad before.
Oh,
I
Joel.
interviewed yes. For those of you who don't know, I worked with Ches in My Sweet Princess, which I have the poster of in the back, which I
Oh
totally
my God.
stole. and
Hey, I also stole a poster in Glitter Trap, so
yeah,
like
it's cool. It's cool. We're all thieves, okay? We're all
Yes,
thieves.
yes.
So sad. No, but I talked to him. I interviewed him for a class, and he told me the first time like I realized that theater could scare me was watching Sweeney Todd. He watched Sweeney Todd when he was a kid in this I don't know which year. I won't mention which year, but it was with Junix Inoshan as Sweeney Todd, and I think it was Baby Barredo or someone as Mrs. Lovett. Yeah.
Yeah. And like with theater, it doesn't like compared to film, it doesn't depend like for the horror shows. It doesn't depend on jump scares, or for the romantic ones, it doesn't depend on like graphic romantic
Yeah.
sexual scenes
Yeah.
or whatever.
Definitely.
It's really it really builds it up in the story, whether it's a musical or a play, and the dialogue of theater, like the script, it's just in another level.
It's especially my favorite playwright's Floy Quintos. I think that his dialogue is really like something else. You read it and you're like, I've never seen something like I've never heard something like this, but it sounds like something someone would say.
Yeah.
That's what I aim for when I write plays. Like it sounds that it's what I would say, or it's what someone I know would say. Like how they would speak.
Yeah, and like it really teaches you about conversation, and like how to how to be more creative, and how to communicate with words. Because like in theater, You have to look at the subtext. You have to look at how to build up this, how to build up that. And if you're a writer, you really have to think, will this work on stage? Because like in
Yeah.
film, you can just like edit everything and all, but
Yeah.
like, will this work on stage? And like it's also applicable to like directors or
Yeah.
actors. Like being on stage is just a different experience.
It
Uh-huh.
is, and you talking about it now is I'm really starting to miss it. Like
Hmm.
I'm really starting to like. I want that anxiety back. That crazy like anxiety where you're doing everything you can to give a good show, and you're doing everything in
Yeah.
preparation. Like you start doing weird stuff, like talking to yourself in the mirror.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Can you talk about your process? Like since you've talked
Acting.
about
Yeah.
acting process, as a director, but like I'm sure you're more versed in the acting
Yeah.
realm. So like what's your process before, during, after?
Okay, so before my process in my first show, it was we did Les Mis, and
I saw you.
you watched that. I, my girlfriend watched it. I think no, last year. I brought the DVD and
Oh.
she watched it, and I was like standing outside of the room looking in. I don't want to watch. I
Oh my
hate
God.
watching myself. I hate it. I hate
Same.
it.
Oh my
It's the worst.
god. Especially like old shows from like 5 years ago because you just suck. You suck.
Oh, weren't you in 13? Weren't you in 13?
Yeah,
Weren't you Liz Gillies' character? Were you Liz Gillies?
yeah, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
Lucy. I was Lucy, like the mean girl of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like
What
looking
a
at yourself.
role of a
Yeah.
lifetime. I
Yeah,
want to
so
direct that. I want to direct 13. Or I want to watch it.
same.
Yeah.
Same. Oh my god. Just directing kids. It's just a different experience.
But they're not just kids. They're all like preteens, like 13-year-olds, and they're
True.
all awkward
And
and sad.
hormonal. Oh yeah, let's go back to your process.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we haven't.
Yeah, we keep trailing off. Well,
Yeah.
that's what happens in a good podcast. Just kidding.
Really.
So my process, um, the first time I acted, it was really just like, just go on stage, it'll come. But like, yes, as time goes on, you really have to prepare. That and my
Yeah.
suite, that's how I do it. Just stand like this, and it'll come, and just go
True.
on stage. But I entered theater school, and I learned how like you really need to prepare. You really need to think about your objectives. Think about
Yes.
what you're feeling. Objectives are terrific help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And you really have to think about it. Like you're like, where am I? Where am I coming from? What do I want right now? And what will I do if I don't get it? Stanislavski kind of
Yes.
things. But the craziest preparation I did was when I did I did the Shakespeare class in rep, and I was playing Hamlet and Romeo. I prefer Hamlet over Romeo because Romeo's kind of dumb. Don't judge your
Yeah.
characters. That's why my
Don't.
don't judge your characters, but like
Yeah.
you
A
can
no-no.
acknowledge okay, he's kind of dumb, but it's
Yeah.
okay. I love him anyway. But with Hamlet, it was our we were getting ready for the show itself, and I kind of like because I heard from a theater teacher before that Menchu Lauchenko Yulo, when she did the show Passion by Sondheim, she would be in character 30 minutes before the show. You couldn't talk to her. She would just be in character, and she would walk around the theater. She'd be around the theater, and you'd be like, she wouldn't answer to her name or something like that. It was crazy. So I
The
did.
dedication.
So I tried
the
to do that.
dedication. Oh my
I
gosh.
tried to do it, and I think it worked. And I was walking around on stage, green belt, in character, like
Oh my
as
gosh.
Hamlet. My father's dead. I'm sad. My father's dead, and I hate everything. And it was just and I went on, and it went. I'd say it went well. And at one time, my director, si Jeremy Domingo,
Yeah.
he was like, he saw what I think he realized what I was doing because I was like moping around like this,
Oh my god.
and then he was like, Hamlet, where do you enter? He's like, Hamlet, where do you enter? And I was like, I just pointed at the line, and I walked away. And it works, but psychologically it's not fun.
It's draining.
It's really draining.
Hamlet is just an emo kid from the I don't know what era, like
from Denmark back then.
medieval Denmark.
Like Elizabethan Denmark or something like that.
Yes, oh my gosh.
That's why he's like I have 2 dream roles and they both have Ham in them.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
Hamlet
Ham.
and Alexander Hamilton.
Yes, Hamilton. Oh my gosh. By the way, I remembered, like, with Hamilton, like, Hamilton is your favorite. Is it your favorite show?
No, it's hard to say what my favorite
Yeah.
Broadway musical is. But
True.
Decada's still my favorite musical of all time.
Yes, of course. It's different.
I just like
And-
Hamilton a lot. That's
Yeah. And like, what do you think about the people who are like the theater, up there people are like, oh my gosh, you like Hamilton, you like Les Mis, Normie, you like Be More Chill, you like Heathers, you like, what's that other music? Dear Evan Hansen,
like
such a
Mean Girls.
normie.
Well, I think
Yeah. What do you think of those people? Or what do you think of that notion?
I think that notion is why people seem to be very closed off to theater.
Yes.
I don't think we should gatekeep. I don't think we should. I mean, I probably have said those things in the past. I probably have
Same.
said those things in the past.
Let's not
Yeah.
kid ourselves here.
Let's not kid ourselves. We've done it before because we were young and we didn't know any better.
Yeah, true.
But now that we're older, we kind of know that it's better to those are gateway musicals. People listen to that and they'll go into listening to other things and they'll continue supporting the theater. So what's wrong with that? Why should we gatekeep them?
Yeah, and like theater is like, I'm happy if like someone mentions that they like Hamilton or Heathers because another people who appreciates theater and might buy a ticket for one of the shows.
No, but I'm so sick of all those musicals already. I'm glad you're listening to it, but if you're listening to it in front of me, I'll probably just zone out or I'll leave the room.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, I'm so
I
sick of
probably
that
we probably listen to that like at first it's good, but then you become obsessed with it and you've listened to it for like 10 times already and you're just like, now I'm just like, stop,
I'm
please.
good. I used to want to play JD and Heathers, but now I don't
I
want to play
remember
anyone
that.
in Hey! Let's, I know where this is going and I don't want to go further. I know where this is going. I know where this is going.
Okay, let's just
Let's
keep it for all the people there who actually know where this might
U-turn tayo.
U-turn.
Sorry. This
Yes,
is
let's
that's so
go
embarrassing.
back.
Let's
Let's
pretend
go
we
back.
didn't say that. I'm sorry
Rap people.
to
Rap
mean
people.
listeners. Rap
I see
people.
you.
Stop. Rap people, stop.
Yes. Oh yeah, let's go back to gatekeeping theater and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So now, why should you watch theater and why should you try theater? Like, it's a different thing, like different reasons to watch it and to actually try it. So
Yeah.
let's go with watching it first. Like, why should you watch theater?
Why should you watch theater? Because it reminds you that you're human.
Yes.
It reminds you that there are people with problems and there are people who have issues that I don't have, and it's good to know that they're there, and it's good to know that if we can, we'll fight for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I was so touched by that. Wow.
It's just I was thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was saying, I'll be smart like that. I'll be smart like that. And now, like, why should you try theater?
Why should you try theater?
Yeah.
Because it's not for everyone. I'll say that it's really not for everyone.
It's not.
Because your life is kind of like just your life just gets like encapsulated in theater. Not really,
Yeah.
but like your life becomes theater, and you'll start seeing that like sometimes like when I'm walking. Where I'm walking, I was like, oh, I have to go downstage. I mean, I have to go there. It's just really dumb. Like it's just those little things, but I can't
Yeah.
exactly say what it is. But you should do theater because you need to work some shit out. No, I
Is
don't
that
know
allowed?
why.
Is that allowed in my podcast?
No, you need to do theater. Oh my God, why do you need to do theater?
Yeah,
Why do we need to do theater?
Maybe it's
Oh my God, now I'm thinking about it and I'm really confused.
yeah, because like starting theater, you just want to perform, and now you're like sick of it because you've been doing it every day. So like, why should we continue doing it?
Um,
Maybe it is the same reason. It also
Yeah.
teaches you to be human.
yeah, and not to judge people.
Oh yeah.
That's what you learn. Not to
'cause, like,
judge people.
The greatest lesson that theater taught me is empathy. Because you get into these different characters like shoes, and you get to because like when you're getting into these characters' head, you also have to research, and once you research, you get to know about all these like different perspectives in society, different people, different stories, and you just understand them more,
Yeah,
right?
I'd say
Yeah.
so. That's very true. It's also like because theater is, especially if you have issues with the play and you're like, why is that person like this? I hate this person. Then maybe you have to think about why was it written like that? Who's this story?
Yeah.
Who's telling this story? Whose perspective is it? So you learn a lot about perspective.
Yeah,
That's-
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was like us, we're like kind of like are you a sheltered kid?
Am I
would
a
you say?
sheltered kid?
Like back then.
sheltered.
Back then.
Sheltered not because my parents wanted me to. Sheltered because I was very scared of the world. What? This is therapy.
Yeah. Like it really opens your mind. Like in Filipino, parang mamumulat
Mamulat
ka.
ka.
Yes,
Yeah.
mamumulat ka with theater.
True.
And so I just love theater and I miss it so much. I just miss it so much. And
I'm gonna start crying the more you say how much we miss theater.
no, don't cry! Not on my podcast!
No,
Oh, no.
I can't cry on a podcast because
Yeah.
it's not a cry cast, guys. I don't know
Yeah.
where I was going with that joke. I don't know where I was going with that joke. But it's okay.
Yeah.
You learn to be less awkward as well in theater. You learn that like, especially you always feel invincible when you're doing theater. At least I feel
Yeah.
invincible because when I'm in real life, I can't just go up to a person and start talking to them. I'm not really that kind of person unless I'm kind of acquainted with them. But if if I do a show and it's after curtain call and then everyone's outside and then you're like they're congratulating and you're talking, I can talk to anyone.
Yes.
I can just start talking to anyone and just like discussing about the show. And
Yeah. Yeah, and like I think that relates back to what you said about theater being a communal experience. Cause like once you experience this one big thing where it like really talks to you like in a really deep way, you just talk about it with people, you cry, you laugh about it, you're
Yeah.
happy about it. And that's the beautiful thing about theater.
yeah, and that's why all of you should do theater.
Yeah. Try it at least once.
Try
it
it.
at least.
Yeah, try watching, try doing like one show. Passion
Yeah.
Collective's a good place to start if you're like older. Yeah, it's a really it's a very community theater thing, and you know a lot of people who have
Yeah.
regular jobs join your communities might have theaters, and
Yeah.
and they might need your help. They might need a person like you, and you never know. So
Yeah,
why
and
not?
you don't have to be like an actor. You can just be like in the production staff
Yeah.
and whatever, and you'll still learn a thing or two about theater and like being in the story and like relating to people and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So just to wrap up everything that we've all talked about, and this was just like an insightful podcast episode. So what's your message to people? I'm gonna give you two. So what's your message to people who are in theater right now that's, you know, suffering because of the pandemic or whatever?
For people who are in our community and who are suffering, and my fellow students who are also like adjusting to this weird non-theater space,
Yeah.
don't give up. because we can't give up on theater because right now is when it needs us. We can't just leave. Like I mean, if you want to, you can, but like, I think you should think of the greater good as well. Like, maybe take a break from theater. That's also something that you could do. Like, take a break from theater until this whole thing blows over, whenever that will be.
Yeah, and taking a break will make you miss it more, and maybe you'll get that same excitement from theater again.
And you get
once
more
you come
ideas
back.
as well.
Yeah,
you get
that's
more
true.
Ideas. Yeah.
And now, what's your message to people who aren't in theater, who maybe watch like one show or haven't watched a show in their lives? What's your message to them right now?
Right now, I would tell you to go see a play, but there are none right now.
Yeah.
But when we come back, it's gonna be amazing.
Yes.
So watch out for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people who are in theater are like missing it right now, and they're like, they just want to perform. So I'm sure they're gonna give you the best performance.
My first rehearsal for a live physical show, I feel like I'm gonna start bawling and be like, guys, I'm just happy to be here. It's really embarrassing, but I'm
People
seriously.
are so emotional.
I know. That's why some of us aren't emotional and just keep it in. And then they go on stage and you're like, whoa, okay.
Whoa.
Whoa, okay.
I know several people who are. I'm not gonna name it, but like, yeah, I know several people who are. Yeah. So just to like end everything, do you have anything to promote?
Do I have anything to promote? Oh my god, I do! I thought, do I have anything to promote? I do. Right now, Mint Teatro is doing a festival of 10-minute plays from the Virgin Lab Fest Fellowship Program, and our show is called In Progress, Works in Progress for Progress. Our festival director is Nelsito Gomez, and I will be directing Honor Code. So, yeah. I'm excited for that. I'm so stressed out, but it's gonna be fun. I really suggest everyone watches it, and we have really good directors. We have really good actors. Some of the new bloods from Mint are starting, so that's something to watch out for. Is that everything? Yeah, that's the only thing I'm doing right now. So yeah.
Where can we watch it?
You can watch it on the Mint Teatro Facebook page. So yeah, I think that's where we're watching it. I hope I'm right. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna link it in the description.
Yeah.
Wow, she be an influencer or something.
Hi, Mom. I'm on YouTube.
And on Spotify.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, naman.
So we always end our podcast with this like one line. It's like the bottom line is that to be a better human, and you complete it. So are you ready?
Okay, sure. To be a better human. Okay.
Sige. The bottom line is that to be a better human.
To be a better human, you need to learn to be human from theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rafa. Oh my gosh. This was such a good episode.
Yeah, it was really fun. I had a lot of fun. It was actually kind of therapeutic as well. We need that.
Yeah. Yeah, just like, I'm in the theater community again. I'm not alone. I'm not alone here, just missing theater. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope we could work together again in a future
when,
live
Jez?
show. I don't know.
Someone make a vaccine from their garage and make sure it works.
Please. Like, I just want to do theater again. So guys,
before Chez starts crying.
Sorry, I can't cry on cue. That's like one of my non-skills.
I don't think anyone should cry on cue, but that's a whole another discussion.
Whole another discussion, guys. So, this is the How Do You Even Human podcast. Thank you for watching or listening, and we will be chatting again in the next episode. Bye-bye or whatever.
Bye.